A couple of days ago, Trump held a campaign rally in Orlando, Florida, a decently liberal area, and it was exactly what I expected, but I don't think it's exactly what a lot of the left, specifically the Democratic establishment, expected. If you're not freaked out, well, you will be after this video. Take a look.
With your help, with your love and your devotion, and with your drive, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting. And we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together, we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Orlando. Thank you, Florida.
Yeah, that's real life. That's real life. Do you know how many people were at that Trump rally? It's 20,000. It's 20,000 people there. He filled an NCAA Division I stadium. Oh, but that was just the people inside of the rally, because there were also people outside of the rally who couldn't get in because there was too many. Do you want to know why? Because over 100,000 people bought tickets to the rally. There were so many people who bought tickets or requested tickets to the rally that they eventually had to change it to first come, first serve, because they literally couldn't get everybody in the building. The person who was in charge of setting the capacity actually had to extend the capacity to 20,000 at the request of the campaign. There were some people, and wasn't a few, it was a lot of them, who camped outside for 40 hours to make sure they can get into this rally. For 40 hours. Do you understand what that looks like? 40 hours camping outside to see a man that the mainstream media is trying to convince you is unpopular. To see a man that the mainstream media is absolutely convinced can be beat by running a centrist like Biden, by running a centrist like Kamala, like Pete Buttigieg, like Elizabeth Warren. Do you really think that at any point in any of their careers, past, present, or future, that Pete Buttigieg, Kamala, Biden, Elizabeth Warren can draw 20,000 people? Especially in a city where they wouldn't even win. Like, supposedly, Trump wouldn't even win Orlando. And they told, that's what's even scarier. If what he is saying is true, and they told him, his advisors specifically said, don't hold it in Orlando because there will be empty seats. And the mainstream media will make a big deal about it. Which is true, of course they would. But Trump, as arrogant as he is, and when it comes to beating up on the establishment left, he has every right to be. Guess what? He said, do it. I want it in Orlando. He went into blue territory and shit it in y'all's bed. I'm not a Democrat, so I don't know what to tell you. And said, do something about it. We don't have time for the games. Damn all that. Oh, we want to beat Trump. No. The blue no matter who thing isn't going to work anymore. Blue no matter who, you know who that works on? Blue blood Democrats, right? The Democratic hardliners, the ones who are dedicated to the party, the ones who are super active in the Democratic Party. That's who that work on. You know how many of them are in this country? Not that many. They're not. But you know who Trump has? Damn near all the Republicans. All of them. Almost all of the Republicans. You know who else Trump has? A good portion of the independents. Enough. More than the Democrats have. And guess what? He even has some of the Democrats. At the end of the day, Trump is a political phenom, whether you want to admit it or not. Thinking that you can beat him with a centrist candidate is absolute idiocy. It is lunacy. There is no... Listen, do you think that Biden could do that? Seriously. He's a front runner, right? He has all the big donors. All the polling said he's winning. According to Politico, Biden hasn't drawn anything close to 20,000, despite being in the political spotlight for decades. For decades, people, despite having these insane fundraising numbers because big donors love him, because he keeps patting them on the back and telling them how he's not going to do anything bad to them and how he won't demonize them. Despite the fact the polling, once again, continues to call him the front runner. He hasn't drawn anywhere near this. He was part of the most popular, albeit unearned, it's an unearned title, but nonetheless, we can't ignore the fact that he was part of the most popular administration in modern history, and he can never draw these numbers. Trump is a different animal. Trump has absolutely reneged on almost all of his promises, and 100,000 people are still lining up to his rally. You can't use traditional strategy to be a non-traditional politician. Bernie said it best. The only way we can win this is to excite the public and bring new people into this. People who wouldn't have paid attention before. Bernie did a fantastic job of that before. Tulsi is doing a fantastic job of bringing libertarians in and taking away some of Trump supporters. You know how many Trump supporters Biden has taken away? 0. Kamala is pissing them off. She's black. No, that's not going to work. Especially when people know you don't mean it. So you push black people away and then you reinforce the idea that the Democratic Party is all about identity politics, which MAGA people hate, even though they love their identity. Proud Boys. Yeah, they hate identity politics. Okay. They project their insecurities just like Trump does. And people who project their insecurities like Trump does are just as defensive as Trump is. And they will do it. And when you get backed into a corner and you feel like your identity may not be the norm, that the status quo that you may have been benefiting from for literally generations may be changing, you will do whatever you have to do to defend it. And that means keeping that man in office. We need a Bernie Sanders. We need a Tulsi Gabbard. Hell, Mike Gravel, even though he's not running to win, same thing. Look, I know a lot of Yang Gang love you. Yang can't beat that. He can't beat that. He can't. Marianne Williamson can't beat that. This is next election. I'd be more than willing to consider it. Like, okay, things have somewhat returned to normalcy. We have our Medicare for all. We've ended these regime change wars. Good stuff. But There's two candidates who can beat that. And it's Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard, the woman who endorsed Bernie Sanders. The one who can unite progressives and bring in the moderate Republicans, and the one who can unite progressives and bring in those libertarians and former Trump supporters. Go look on the comment section of any Fox News video of Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard, and you will see the comment sections, for the most part, love them. They can't believe that they're Democrats. And Bernie Sanders obviously is not one, but he can't believe they're running as Democrats because they make so much sense to them. Tulsi, her crowds are going to be massive pretty soon. A lot of the reason that she can't, it's just a campaign, it's a money issue, right? They haven't raised millions like Bernie has. So to run a venue like that, it does cost money to fill the venue with staff and volunteers. It does cost money. But she had to hold 2 rallies the other day in New York because her campaigns are getting larger. Hell, we had people waiting outside in line in San Francisco for the same reason. Bernie Sanders, nobody can touch his campaign. His rallies in every city are massive. As far as that aspect, only Bernie has been able to match Trump in that regard. But this is not a game. This is real life. Trump is popular, and he's way more popular than the mainstream will lead you to believe. And I've been saying this. Everybody thought, oh, you're caping for Trump. No, I live in reality. This is the reality that I've lived in before Trump existed. I've dealt with people like a lot of his supporters my entire life. And people who have looked like me have dealt with people like his supporters for our entire lives. I lived in the South for half of my life, the most important years of my life. I've been jumped by cops where people told me I should have complied. That's a Trump supporter, most likely. He ain't voting for Biden. He ain't voting for Bernie. He had to vote for somebody, and it was probably Donald Trump. I've been called the N-word. I've been called a cotton picker. And guess what? There are a lot more of those people than there are of black people in general, of minorities in general. There are a lot more people who blame immigrants for their problems than blaming the actual enemies. Guess what? Guess who they voted for? For Trump. There are a lot more of them than there are there are more of them than there are minorities. Period. And that's a fact. Yeah, it's cool. You got a lot of minorities in California. Trump ain't trying to win California. He don't want it. He don't need it. For what? He can't win it. Yeah, there's a lot of minorities in New York. Trump can't win New York. He don't care. He don't need it. We are concentrated. Trump's base is spread out across the country, and it is real. And we've been telling you this. Pull your head out of your asses. I don't want to. These neoliberal lights, these political hobbyists, because that's what they are. They're political hobbyists. The ones who critique anybody, they want to attack people attacking Jimmy Dore. You know why Jimmy is angry? Jimmy should be angry. You know why Bernie's angry? Bernie should be angry. You know why I'm pissed? Because we're tired of political hobbyists trying to get us to put up with centrists when these very same political hobbyists, ironically enough, all white males, except for a couple of the white females, are all telling us, vote blue no matter who. Listen what I'm telling you. Listen to somebody who's worked in politics, who works in politics, who's been on the ground, who's been in the trenches. Vote blue no matter who will still not beat Trump. Look at the fucking numbers. That's not what's going to win. Every single Democrat can vote blue no matter who, but what the fuck good does that do if most of them live in California? If most of them live in New York? If most of them live in 2 cities in Florida, 1 city in Houston, 1 city in Illinois, 1 city in North Carolina? Well, maybe 2 if you count Chapel Hill with Charlotte. and maybe Greensboro. And you wanna know what Trump has? Trump has the rest of Florida, all of Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, the entire Midwest, not a piece of it, not a part of it, the entire Midwest. Potentially Oregon. Potentially Colorado. Definitely Nevada. Arizona. Vote blue no matter who is the stupidest strategy. It's stupid because incrementalism is idiotic. It doesn't work. We'll get somebody worse than Trump next time. Hell, we can end up with somebody like Roy Moore for all we know. We can end up with a Pence for all we know, which would be scarier than Trump. But mathematically, it does not work. Do the fucking math. It does not work. The only two candidates who can win are the ones who can take voters from the right and who can bring independent voters into the fold, who can bring non-voters into the fold. Period, point blank. There's no debate. There's no discussion to be had. And anybody telling you otherwise, guess what they make? They're all millionaires. And a couple of them are on their way to being that. They all came from rich families. They have no idea what you're going through. They throw insults at the people telling you the truth because they can't dispute the facts. They can't dispute the facts that have been here this entire time. They can't dispute the truth because, well, the truth is the truth. They can argue against it. They can insult the person bringing it to you. They can do ad hominem attacks all day, every day. But they're teeing you up. Like I said, you know the difference between these neoliberal lights who are going to hand us Trump and neocons and neoliberals? Neoliberal lights say, but I love Bernie, before they feed you the same exact bullshit that they're going to feed you. The neoliberal lights, they love Warren. There are some people who can tolerate her, but no, Warren's progressive. No, she's not. Progressives can beat Trump. Warren cannot. It's pretty clear, honestly. Stop listening to these people. Literally millionaires, accepting checks from MSNBC, faces on mainstream media all the time. And listen to the facts. Listen to the people on the ground. Listen to the people in the crowds. Look at that crowd size. Trump is not a game. But yet these people want to keep playing the game. There is nothing else to discuss. It's Bernie Sanders or Tulsi Gabbard, any combination of the two. Nothing else will do. Nothing else will work. We already have the answers to the damn test. All you have to do is fill in the bubble. And you still want to ask dumbass questions. Well, what about this? No, I already gave you the answer. But what about in this situation? No, I gave you the answer. Just write down the answer, fill in the bubble. That's it. But they want to keep playing games. They want to fit in with the establishment so they can keep signing those checks. Guess what's going to keep happening? You're going to be the one that suffers. So you can go to all the little comment sections for people talking shit about Jimmy Dore, people even talking shit about Kyle, people talking shit about me. People, go let them know that we told them. We said this. We told you all the truth. We gave you the facts. And I can't speak for Kyle. I can't speak for Jimmy, but I can speak for myself. I do this shit. Y'all saw where I was at in San Francisco. You've seen where I'm at with the DNC fraud lawsuit. You've seen me in the trenches with Tim Canova. You see me in the trenches with Jill Stein. I've traveled all over this country. I've talked to people all over this country. You see my comment sections. The comment sections of where people are saying, I was a Trump supporter, I'm voting for Tulsi now. I was a Trump supporter, I'm voting for Bernie now. Why? Because that's what the truth has the power to do. But you can only push the truth if you've been on the ground to get the truth. These people haven't been on the fucking ground. They haven't been in the trenches. They don't know what it's like. They don't know what it's like to be homeless. You know who does? I do. They don't know what it's like to do this because you feel you have to. You know who does? Pasta and Fee, Jimmy, who gave up his normal political comedy career to do what he does now. Ron Placone gave up, he's still on the Jimmy Dore show, but he felt net neutrality, was so important that that's what he went on tour to do. Graham Elwood, same thing. Tim Black, same thing. There are some people who do this because we know what's at stake. Those are the ones that you should be listening to. Call me a gatekeeper, call me what the hell you want to. I really don't care. But if you want to dispute the facts, you can dispute them. But Trump is here. We have a possibility to take him out and every neocon that came before him and prevent every neocon that could come after him. But it's only if we act with conviction right now and put Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard, any combination of the two, in office. We don't have any more time for the games. We don't have any more time for the incrementalism. We have to act now. Thanks for watching that segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Roku TV, and on JustNForm.com. Also, you can make sure that you're subscribed to the channel by going to the subscribe button, pressing it, and hitting that notification bell to get all of our notifications. And of course, you can help us reach our goal of 500 patrons on Patreon by supporting the show by donating as little as $1. You can click on the link in the description below for that. And remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.